Right. So next topic then, and I think we're just going to talk about um, business in general, how you actually generate leads, how you get started. Do you need a website? Do you need to get a logo, a fancy logo, and all that kind of thing? And do you need to spend on advertising? When you first getting started, really. I mean, look, the number one thing that I would say when you want to make some money is keep your costs and your expenses as low as possible. So basically, I wouldn't even get a website. In fact, if you're going to get a website, get like a Wix or get like a AI created website just to get you started, something like that. Just a landing page to get you started, so you've got a web presence. But you don't even need that. All you really need is a mobile phone, an internet connection, a laptop, and then you can make money online. And the first thing is to actually get demand. So actually, before you've even got the product or service, see if there's demand for it. Run like a survey or contact a bunch of people saying, "Look, I'm thinking about putting this thing together." Before you've even registered like a company or anything like that, I'm thinking about doing this thing. Can I put you on the waiting list for, let's say, you want to do a video editing, like a short form video editing business? Um, and maybe even if they've got some long form videos on YouTube or whatever, just take that, clip it, create a short form for them, and say, "Look, this is one that I've already done for you. This is a freebie. If you want a 10 pack of these, I'll do you 10 reels for whatever. $100 a reel, $50 a reel, whatever you want to do it for. $20 a reel, whatever. Just to get that first client." So that'd be the first tip, really. Don't spend 5 grand on a new logo, incorporating your company, a website, somebody to do your brand guidelines, all that kind of thing. Don't spend like 5 grand on all that stuff, because I know a lot of people have done that, and then they've just got to a point where, oh yeah, I've now incorporated a limited company, um, or whatever, and then they've got no business in though. So the thing is, get that first client. It were on Landman recently where they created a company called something cattle, um, and he'd done that because he knew it would still be available, kind of thing. When he registered it. Um, we've got companies house in this country. In America, I'm not sure how you register a company, but basically he got that first check in. He got that check, and then he registered the company, and it was all done really really quickly like that. So he got the order before he even kind of went legal with the company, and that's a really good tip, because you don't want to be um, you know having too many expenses and gearing up before you've even got your first customer. So that would be definitely one of the things to 200% do. That'd be the way that I do it. Um, Next thing is then, so do you need a fancy website or will a Facebook page do? This is a question that I get quite a lot, actually. Um, so definitely, it's a big question. I think you need both personally. I don't know. There's a lot of guys who think, "Oh, I don't need a website now. Websites are dead. Websites, you don't need them anymore." All that kind of thing. That's just not the case. Websites, without a website, you can't. You're not really going to appear in like an LLM, for example. You can maybe appear on brand mentions, but there's going to be a website basically behind that. So that's still very much the case to have a website. Obviously, appearing in Google, you're not going to be able to do that without having a website. Yeah, you can have a Google business profile, but then you're not going to have the button for website. So you're going to be one of those without the button to click on the website. So look, if I were looking for a I don't know, installation company, and they didn't have a website, but the next one did, and they've got a bigger web presence as well if they've got the website button. Basically, so I'd say definitely have a website. But what I'm saying is, you don't need to spend like 5 grand straight away on a website, or 3 grand, or whatever, or 10 grand. You can actually just get one done later on, or at least just have a landing page, or do a DIY one on Wix or whatever, or WordPress. So you can do it on a shoestring budget. The next thing is, I'm asked quite a lot actually by people, how do you get started in digital marketing? And I'll answer this in two kind of ways. So I'll tell you how I got started in digital marketing, and then I'll kind of talk about how, if it was starting now, like going on 20 years later, 20 years since I started in digital marketing, how I would, start right now, basically today in 2026. So I was always interested in psychology. That was the thing. I wanted to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, one of the two. And the psychiatrist, you need to become a doctor, then you can prescribe. But then for a psychologist, you don't need to. And I was looking down that route, and I did, when I was doing my A levels, I did an A level in psychology, because I always really fascinated, with like social psychology, cognitive psychology, just how people think. And then I got a job for a while in sales, and that were absolutely brutal. And then I went and did something else, and then I came back to that as well. I came back to sales, and I kept coming back to sales, and then I eventually I went through college, uni. I worked at the same time. I got my degree a bit later on, my bachelor's honours degree at 27 years old, and that were in IT. And I started a social sciences degree and got 2 years into that, but dropped out of that. So I actually had, like, I've got a full degree, and then I've got 2 years of another degree as well. So I've nearly got two degrees. One would have been in, like I said, social sciences, which is psychology, sociology, and politics. So anyway, I got into digital marketing really through doing. I did my first website in 2004, I think it would have been, or 2005, for my sister and her friend. And I put that together because they needed a website, and because I was doing me, whether my H&D or my HNC, I think it was my HNC, and we were doing a web design module, and I registered my first domain name in 2005. So that's like 22 years ago. And I was figuring all that out, and how to do HTML and all that kind of thing. And I was doing it at college as well. So then after that, I was working in a web design company, and I was doing the sales. I was doing cold calling and drumming up business from basically from just data that we were given, and just picking up the phone and doing it. No dialer or anything like that. Just really basic, old school. And then 6 weeks into that, the boss saw potential in me, and I went out training on the websites and picking up the check and all that kind of thing. And then after that, I finished my degree. I was 27. I actually had a year out of work to finish my degree, basically. Did a top-up degree from the HNC and HND in IT. And I kind of hated the programming. I hated the programming aspect of it in the degree. But anyway, I thought that I wanted to be a software developer, a computer programmer. And I got a job for 6 months as a software developer. But it turned out that, we kind of just sat there 9 well 5, and it wasn't really doing it for me. And it was a bit boring and all that kind of thing. So I then I was kind of learning about SEO and all that kind of thing. And I've been doing, like website stuff and everything. And then I started my own company, and it were an SEO company, and that's the company that I've still got today, 17 years later. And from SEO, we were obviously doing websites as well, and all that kind of thing. And that's the vehicle that I use, marketing, and it's just been absolutely fascinating. And just coming back to those psychological studies, that were kind of the underpinning thing. I love the psychology of sales and marketing, and persuasion and all that kind of thing. And when you're running ads, you're using persuasive techniques. So the second part of this answer then is, if I were going to start digital marketing today, I think I would go straight into paid ads, because paid ads is the fastest way to get somebody results. And you've got to be incredibly good at it. But there's lots of YouTube videos on doing that as well. So there's lots of information out there that wasn't there when I first started, basically. You can kind of get through a lot of that trial and error before, in a much shorter space of time. So the other thing, I would definitely learn SEO. SEO is it's such a big topic. It's fascinating. It's kind of boring as well, but I think the LLMs and the ranking, getting mentions and citations in ChatGPT is fascinating as well. With how there's been that switch in it. It's all about content, really. It's always been all about content and authority, and people trusting the website and all that kind of thing. So that's all it is, SEO, and it's about good information architecture. It's about having accessible pages, a good site structure. There's all kinds of things to it. Good usability and accessibility. Absolutely fascinating topics. A lot of web designers I know, they don't even touch on that. They don't even know about that. Not who I know, but just who I see in the groups, like the different social media groups like Facebook. They're in there charging £100 for a website. You look at the website, and they've got things like white text on a yellow background, and you're thinking that's not accessible, and it's not good color theory and stuff like that. And it's just a real shame that I always said there's got to be. Do you know what? I used to say that there should be regulation in the web design industry, and all that kind of thing. But now I don't think that. I just think the market will decide, and the results will decide. Who's good and who's bad, and it's all about results and impact. So I don't mind it so much anymore, and I just don't focus on the negativity of that. But I used to get really kind of wound up with, like the bottom feeders and all that kind of thing. If I were just starting out now, I would get some hands-on experience, and I would offer any business that were ethical, moral, and legal, and I would approach them. So like a roofer, for example, or an accountant, and I would do something for free for them in exchange for a review. And again, a lot of people say, "Oh, don't work for free, know your worth." But at the end of the day, that first testimonial that in that niche is worth more than money. It's worth a lot more than money, and it'll accelerate your growth as well. So I would definitely say, get in there with some freebies for some when you're first starting out, and they call it like a fee to free, basically. So you're basically doing something for free, and then you can maybe charge them a fee later on. And it could be anything. It could be maybe you're going to do like a few edits to the website. Maybe you're going to change some pages. Maybe you're going to do a video edit for them, and then you can sell them some more video edits. So there's all kinds of things you can do. There's all kinds of different bits and pieces that you can do. Let me just have a look at this. What have we got coming on here? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so there's a few different things that you can do. Um, Next question then. Anybody's got any questions, ask them. Let me just check. Am I missing some? Give me a minute. Am I missing something? No, that's cool. Thank you everybody for watching, by the way. It means the absolute world to me, to be able to help people and get viewers and everything like that. Yeah, another thing I'd do is I would set up systems and processes early on, actually. So I'd set up things like SOPs and so standard operating procedures and stuff like that. And yeah, I'd just get stuck into more. I'd document what I do more. So like basically, like when you're setting up a domain name, you want to have like go into Notion, get a Notion account or ClickUp or something like that, and then just basically record how you do it. Like step one, do this. Step two, do that. There's different ways of doing it. You can record a loom, and then you can create an SOP from that. There's all kinds of different things. Let me get another question. This is one that's coming up a lot. So I were in a consultation with a psychotherapist who was in London, so in Harley Street, London, and she wanted to get some more business in. She was just like kind of breaking even and stuff with the business not doing very well at all, and I suspect she'd been speaking to a few different agencies because she seemed to be she seemed to already have a lot of knowledge and stuff like that around it. And she'd been speaking to one agency, and they were talking about, saying SEO is basically dead, and because of GEO, which is generative engine optimization. And the thing is, yes, from a number one position in Google, generally speaking, you're going to get less traffic than you did a couple of years ago from that. And there's definitely a trend there towards ChatGPT, other LLMs, but it's not. It's almost like, I'm not saying it's the new like snake oil for SEO, but it's generally speaking, when you're doing SEO, you're almost doing GEO as well. It's like 80% the same. There's a few differences. It's like ChatGPT can read a video and then make it succinct, and then file that away, and then cite you for that. Basically, put a citation in for your brand, and then like brand mentions rather than just like anchor text and hyperlinks in like Reddit, for example. So it's looking out for things like that. So it's 80% the same, but it's not like this big. It's definitely a significant thing. It's definitely what businesses need to be doing, but it's not like one's died and the other is now the thing. There are still a lot of people, using Google. I mean, there are the AI overviews now on Google, which appear above Google Ads, but that doesn't mean that you should stop doing SEO or stop doing Google Ads and stop doing Google My Business. in favor of just doing generative engine optimization. So it's all extremes, isn't it? It's just like just have a well-rounded digital marketing plan. On the other hand, though, I'll talk a little bit on. I could talk a little bit on the subject of when you're managing expectations for a client as a digital marketing agency, and they're wanting to try everything, and they're wanting to do like they're getting shiny object syndrome. They're doing they're getting like doing scattergun approach basically, and the way that manifests is they want to do Google ads, and then the Google ads they've only been doing Google ads for 2 weeks, and then they want to switch to Meta ads, and that's like the worst thing to do, just to switch between them every 2 weeks or whatever. Oh, Google ads doesn't work. Let's switch to Meta ads. Oh, let's do Bing ads. The thing is, my philosophy is to get one channel working really well, and as a marketer, you only need to get one channel working really well initially, and focus on it. Put all your eggs in that basket basically, and then you can add a bit more budget onto Bing or whatever as a bit of a what do they call it, where you kind of spread your risk a little bit, diversification. So I'd just focus on one thing. Yeah, if you're a locksmith, if you're an emergency locksmith, you're not going to do particularly well with Meta ads, because when somebody wants a locksmith and they've lost the keys to the house, they are going to go to Google. They're not going to wait on Meta and wait for an ad to come along just on the off chance. So it's going to be Google. But anyway, your marketer or me should be able to know your niche, have worked in your niche before, show similar results. You've got your case studies, and then be able to tell you if it's Google or Meta, or if YouTube's going to do well or whatever for your niche. And then, of course, once you've got one working, you can add other channels. So, I mean, Google Ads works really well with Meta, with Meta retargeting, for example. So you can get them to your website through Google, and then you can retarget them once they hit the website with Meta Ads retargeting. So you don't have to. It's not all kind of just all the eggs in one basket permanently, but it's getting something going and putting enough focus into that, rather than trying to charge forward on 10 different fronts at the same time, and then end up like with that dilutive effect. Because if you think about it, if let's say, and it's the power of focus really, so if you've got like, I don't know, £20,000 a year to put into ads, and you put it in, you say, right, we're going to do Bing ads, we're going to do LinkedIn ads, we're going to go Google ads, we're going to do YouTube ads. I know YouTube, it's second largest search engine. It is owned by Google, so you run YouTube ads from Google. But the point is, if you're going to do TikTok ads, Google, Meta, LinkedIn, Reddit, all these other things, and you're going to split your budget 7 different ways, then that is actually slow for the testing process, the learning process, the A/B testing process, the optimizations. Put all your budget into one, the one that you can make an informed decision that it is going to be the one that's going to have the most impact, and results for you. And then just put it all into that. And then when that's rocking and rolling, take some of the profits and maybe split your budget 90% Google to 10% Bing. And then you've got that diversification into Bing. So that's generally the way you want to do it. Another question I get asked is, right, so Michael, you're going to do us a new website, and then you're going to do us some SEO, you're going to do us some ads. Are we going to be waiting like 3 months for a website? So the other thing is, it's a lot quicker to do a website these days. It's so much quicker to do a website. But even back in the day when it was slower to do a website, we would still ask a customer, what's your best selling product, what's your second best selling product, where are you making most of your money at the moment. You've got 20 different products or services, but there must be one or two. It's Pareto 80/20, so there's usually one or two products which are bringing in 80% of the revenue. So 20% of the product services bringing 80% of the revenue. So as a marketer, this is your consultative selling. Find out which products and services are bringing in the most revenue, basically. So that's the way to do that. And then from there, you can make a big impact on that. So, and with your website, for example, you don't want to. A client don't want to be waiting 3 months for a website. If they've got an existing website, you can spruce that up. You can renovate that so it's you can tweak it, you can amend it so that that's working well while your new one's going to be ready. And again, it's looking for the weak spots. It's looking for the things that aren't working. You can put heat mapping on, like Hotjar, Lucky Orange. You can see drop off points. You can use your analytics, your Google Analytics, etc. You can run SEO tools like Screaming Frog, SEO tool through it, and all that kind of thing. I've got to go. I've just got a call coming through. 1 minute, Vicky. I'm just. Oh yeah, we're fine. 1 minute. Yeah, I think you said that live on TikTok.